Food uses a lot of oil, a lot of lard, and a lot of animal products. But who's to say you can't make a health-conscious Mexican dish? With this particular recipe, I'm going to be using portobello mushrooms and mango. So I start off with the portobello mushroom. The first thing I usually do is cut off that stem so I can have a flat surface to cut them up into nice slices. So the general rule is 1 mushroom per person, but as you can see, that's a lot. It all depends on actually how hungry your family really is. Now that I got my sliced up mushrooms in a resealable bag, it's time to make the marinade. Now, I usually like to start with equal parts of soy sauce, balsamic vinegar, and Worcestershire sauce. But here's the thing about Worcestershire sauce. Sometimes it's made with fish. So you might want to check your local grocery store just to make sure that they have a vegan version, which is one I found right here. So put a little bit of steak rub in there, a little bit of chili powder in there, and some cumin. Some salt and pepper. Again, the salt's always optional. There. So now I go ahead and mix this marinade all together. Open my bag and put the marinade inside. And I close up the bag and just kind of roll them around a little bit so they get to coat all the sides of the mushrooms. Now that I let that marinate for a while, let's go ahead and cut up all the rest of the vegetables. So normally when I cut up the onions, I like to save a little bit for the pico garnish. Now normally I don't use both of the bell peppers for this particular recipe, but instead I'll save some of it for another meal. So now I've cut up all my vegetables. It's time to put them in a skillet and start frying them up. Now usually what I do is I start with a little bit of vegetable broth that I've made before. Just a little bit. And then I get into my spices. Put my little bit of my steak rub in there. Sprinkle that in. Again, a little bit of cumin. A little bit of kick, put a little bit of chili powder in there, but it all depends on your tastes. Of course, a little bit of salt and pepper. And let's start frying this up. Okay, these are cooking up real nice. So the next thing I usually like to do is add a little bit of dried tomatoes. And just for a little bit of nice sweetness, a little bit of brown sugar. Just a little bit. That all depends on you. It's already starting to smell great. So now I take my mushrooms that have been marinating in the balsamic vinegar, soy sauce, and Worcestershire and add them in. Oh, these are cooking up real nice. Now the trick is you don't want to have too much liquid down on the bottom of your pan. You want the onions and the green peppers to kind of caramelize a bit. So while these are cooking, let's go ahead and start cutting up my mango and my cilantro. So you remember the onions from before? Well, I'm going to save a little bit of the cilantro for the pico. These are coming along just great. Now, as you can see, some of the liquid is starting to disappear down on the bottom, which gives it that nice caramel flavor. A little bit of that brown sugar and all those spices. It's going to be awesome. So now it's time to finish up the pico with some tomatoes. So now I got the basic elements of my pico. It's time to add a little bit of spice. So I usually use a little bit of salt, but that's optional again. A little bit of pepper, and a little bit of chili powder. And really, that's about it for pico. So I'll go ahead and put this in the refrigerator and let that start to chill a bit. So now this is coming along just great, and as you can see, a lot of liquid is now missing from the pan, which is where you want it to be. So let's go ahead and put in the mango. Let's go ahead and continue to fry this up a little bit. Now this particular mango wasn't exactly that ripe, so I'm going to go ahead and cook it for just a little bit longer. But normally, if it is a ripe mango, it doesn't need a lot of frying. So now this is pretty much ready to go and looking really good. I like to add a little bit of lime. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of lime in there. This is going to be amazing. Now, I'll just add my finishing touch, which is a little bit of cilantro. Oh, this is looking really, really nice. So as you can see, most of the moisture is now gone. The onions have caramelized just a little bit. The mango has sweetened up everything. Now it's time to put it in a tortilla. It's going to be so awesome. So the trick is, with the tortillas, you don't want to put too much in there, otherwise you can't fold them up too good. Then the next thing I like to do is serve them with a little bit of beans and my Pico de Gallo. This is going to be good, I can tell. So good. So if you're looking for a healthy